Recording in progress.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ISPP webinar, Ask Us Anything. I'm Kuhu Chauhan and I manage admissions and outreach at ISPP. Today, we plan to do something different with our Ask Us Anything webinar. Usually, we take all the questions, which we'll take today as well. And I am usually accompanied by my team. And from recent demand and the request that I have gotten from a lot of applicants and inquiries, that we would love to hear what alumni has to say, what our current scholars has to say. And with each passing day, I am getting more and more requests that we want to connect with the current scholars, with the current students. So I thought, why not include our current scholars in the webinar so that all our audience can hear firsthand from their experience what are their career aspirations, why did they choose this career path of public policy, and understand public policy from the budding public policy practitioners. So without any further delay, let me introduce our panelist for today. So we have Ms. Shivangi Singh, who is our current scholar, who has done her BA and MA in political science, worked in the development sector as a position of the program manager, and currently pursuing public policy with ISPP. Welcome, Shivangi. We have Mr. Vijay Krishna, who has done undergraduate degree in psychology, English literature, and journalism, worked as a consultant in an edtech sector, and now pursuing public policy with ISPP. Welcome, Vijay. Thank you guys for being a part of the webinar today. So as I mentioned in the introduction also, a lot of aspirants in public policy wants to know more about public policy. So can you help everybody understand what is public policy, A, and B, what made you choose this particular career path? So Vijay, shall we start with you first?
Good evening, Kohu. As Kohu mentioned, my background is quite diverse. I've done an undergraduate degree in psychology, English literature, and journalism. And I found out about public policy during my undergraduate days. And I realized that a lot of change in the country, in the system, happens through public policy because a lot of change often does not come from the government, it comes from outside forces. And that is where public policy comes in. Public policy, I believe, can be explained simply as uh, identifying problems, realizing if this problem has to be solved. And once we decide that, okay, this problem is to be solved, uh, public policy basically maps out all of the people that is affected by this issue and then finds the most efficient way to solve it, where all of the parties involved, where we're going to use the term stakeholders, all of the parties involved in this problem are going to be affected by this problem, are better off. And that's how we solve problems. And let's talk about corporates. In corporates or companies or multinationals, public policy is usually the outward facing part of the organization, and they make sure that the company's interests are maintained in relation to all of the changes that happen outside, whether it be a new policy being rolled out, a new regulation, a new rule, or let's say something as simple as tariffs being hiked somewhere across the globe. And that's basically what public policy does. And I would say in one word, or a couple of words actually, that public policy involves talking to people and trying to solve problems that they cannot solve for themselves.
Okay, makes sense, makes sense. That's a somewhat understandable definition of public policy from your perspective. Shivangi, what's your perspective? What do you think what public policy is? What excites you most about the public policy?
Hello, Kuhu. So Kuhu has introduced me. So I've done BA and MA in political science, and right after my post graduation, I started working in the development sector. So my understanding of public policy basically starts from there. So for me, public policy is about shaping the frameworks that guide how our society functions. So it's not only about the laws and regulations that are in place, but it also about how the systems that are in place in a society, how the rules, the decision they take to solve a problem, how those decisions affect us. So coming from the development sector background, I was doing and implementing a lot of programs on ground, and there I realized that how important it is to work on these decisions, because they have a real and long lasting impact. For us to go on ground and implement these policies properly, and there I also realized the loopholes that are there and how important for us to fix it for to have a long and lasting impact. And my work made me realize the importance of public policy, and that is why I decided to do it. And as Vijay also mentioned, at ISPP we are taught to exactly get into this, to think about the problem and think about the stakeholder consensus, how we are going to build it, and then you come to a decision and you analyze it before you go on and make it live.
Shivangi, coming back to there is a commonality of identifying problems and creating a lasting impact from the solutions that policy practitioners provide. That said, I'll ask Vijay. You come from a very diverse background, right? And then choosing public policy as a career path, having the understanding that's a niche field. What made you take that decision? What was the force behind that decision?
So, Kuhu, the simplest answer to that would be the fact that the field or the field of public policy in India and around the world is now exploding in size. It was a very niche subject or a field to go into, let's say 5 years back, 10 years back, nobody knew what public policy was. But now, uh, companies are realizing that companies and the government and NGOs, every sort of organization that exists, is realizing that their decisions cannot be made in a vacuum. There needs to be an understanding of what people think. There needs to be a real world grounded approach to how we look at the world and the problems that come with it. And which is why, to protect their interests and to make sure that everybody is better off, that companies and the government as a whole, all of these organizations have gone into a more of a consultative process. So earlier decisions were made by people who had the authority, or it was made with the, let's say, if you're an organization, the investor's best interests in mind. But now, all of these decisions are made with a consultative approach, trying to figure out how the world will react to something that you do. And because of that, every company, every government department now has a public policy wing, or people working in public policy professionals that are tied to them. Which is why I felt that right now is the perfect time to get into public policy in India, especially because the government as well is moving into more consultations and understanding what the people think, which has led to massive growth in public policy as a whole. And for me personally, it is a chance to make a real difference in the world. Maybe a difference that I may not be directly impacted by. Maybe I'll never see the benefits of it, but it would leave a mark on the world. And which is why I chose to go into public policy than any other career choice.
Perfect. Perfect. Just one follow-up question on that, Vijay. Since you have such a diverse background and you have now, of course, you're doing policy. What exactly in policy that you would like to pursue?
So in policy, there are a lot of niches, what we call domains. And in my case, I am most interested in the urbanization domain. And I'll tell you why, because of the fact that India has a long history of trying to stop urban growth. We wanted our villages and small towns to remain as such. But growth is inevitable. And in 10 years, almost 56% of India's population is going to live in cities. And I don't know how many of the attendees are here from Delhi, but the quality of life in our cities is deteriorating. And I believe urbanization is important, and why I'm interested in pursuing urbanization as a domain, as my interest, I'm passionate towards it because of the fact that you have so many people moving to cities, and these are all people who are individuals who have hopes and dreams and ambitions. And I think it's all of our duty to make sure that our cities are prepared to handle all of these people, because there's a reason countries have been called the land of opportunity or the city of dreams. It's because people could come from nothing and build an entire life for them. But we can never do that if our cities are not ready for all of the people that are coming in search of a new opportunity, a new life. Uh, and as we develop our cities, I think we need to develop the way we look at our cities and design our cities, hence urbanization.
Perfect answer. I think you have the right intent. Coming back, Shivangi, the same question I want to ask you. What is it in public policy that you want to pursue?
Okay, so I think I gave you all the answers in my first answer. So I have been in the development sector, and while I was implementing all these programs and trying to educate people about a certain policy, there of course I realized the importance of the field, and I got to know more about, okay, there is public policy and the field is, of course, the education is important. And it led me to ISPP, and here I realized that the programs and policies that I have been trying to work on, and then I have been trying to think and research more on about, they do have a name. It's a direct benefit transfer, cash transfers, unconditional cash transfers. So my interest area lies towards that, and since I have been already placed, and I apply to an organization which is working exactly on this sector, on in this field. So with cash transfers, the idea is that we have to change the narrative around what stakeholders and people generally think about giving money to the poor people, and they will not be able to manage it. But that is not the case. With a lot of pilot and research studies that have been conducted till now, it shows that you give money to anyone and they will know what to do with it. So I will be working on this narrative, implementing programs, working with the alongside with the government, and how we can change the shift and see if there's a shift within the government and the policies that are coming. So it's very interesting for me, and yeah, I'm excited to do that soon in July as a policy manager.
Perfect. Perfect. Makes sense. Just one question, a follow-up question, not a question actually, more of how to put it, that you have a clear understanding that you want to go in which domain. How the postgraduate program, the PTM program, because a lot of, the attendees that we have, the applicants that we have so many questions regarding the course, the curriculum. Some of them have an understanding, like you have, that this is what they want to, this is the particular domain that they want to choose. Some of them will identify with the course of time. Having said that, how the curriculum, the PTM course curriculum is designed that helped you in your, path towards public policy professional?
So I'll tell you, I felt the need and I joined ISPP because I looked at for me, joining ISPP was purely because of my academic reasons. I really wanted to understand the field, and when I had an interaction with the faculty, I was sure that these people are the best in this field, and getting a chance to learn from them is going to help me a lot, and that was what exactly has happened. With respect to my domain and my interest, I got to have a lot of classroom discussions around DBTs, cash transfers, and in fact, in policy practice lab, where we do exactly what we do is think. We think a lot, and there we had a whole session around cash transfers. And right after that, I had this interview, so which has really helped me. Like this PDM course has not really not only helped me with my interest, but I never really thought about how I can connect certain domains with my existing research areas. So for example, crime and substance abuse I've been doing research upon, and I never realized that urbanization as a domain and how I think about public space, and how we study public space with from the urbanization lens, how they are also connected. So everything is interlinked, and PDM has really broadened that understanding for me. So it's not just you come here with one research interest, but I actually got a chance to build my research interest more and more, and realize okay where it can lie when I talk about from the public policy lens. Earlier, I can say it was more from the anthropology or the sociology lens of it. But now I can say, okay, there's a policy for it.
Okay. It broadened your horizons. Perfect. Vijay, to that, I'll ask Vijay again. Uh, of course, like Shivangi had a very clear understanding where she wants to go ahead with public policy, you being from a very diverse, different backgrounds. So when you join PDM program, like a lot of queries that we receive and that's a very fair question to ask, that how do we get to decide I'm not sure what particular domain I would choose. I'm not sure, but yes, I'm interested in public policy. So did you did you face such a dilemma, or you were very sure?
Uh, Certainly, Kuhul, I had no idea what the different opportunities or the different domains or the niches within public policy were. I'm a literature graduate, journalism, psychology. I mean, you, there was no expectation in me or from my previous college that I need to understand what I'm doing beyond my field of study. Um, and I think the easiest way to put it is when I came to ISPP, I was like, a table lamp. The table lamp only shines light on a table. But I think I'll be leaving ISPP as a lighthouse. I've sort of, like Shivangi said, broaden your horizon, right? It's really broadened my horizons in the sense that it takes you through all of the various aspects of public policy. Uh, and to answer your question very specifically, it would be that there is no requirement for you to have an understanding of where you want to go into, because that is what ISPP is here for. And which was a gamble for me as well, because I thought, okay, I want to do public policy, but where I go from there, I was uncertain of. There's someone in our cohort, mine and Shivangi's cohort, who used to do stem cell research. His research was in stem cells, and now he's found out that he's interested in foundational education, and he's placed with a foundation that does this, just education across India, making sure that every child has quality foundational education. And ISPP took someone who did stem cell research and made him realize that his passion and his interest lay in education. Uh, so even if you really just want to do public policy, have a very sort of rudimentary understanding of it, very bare bones, understanding of public policy, and come to the PDM program at ISPP. By the end of the, let's say, third, fourth month, you will have an idea of what you want to do. And the great thing is, once you know what to do, you're going to be able to reach out to people and your professors and to ISPP and make sure that you get the help and the sort of learning that you require to take you forward on a career in that, let's say, niche. Uh, so yeah, you really don't need to know exactly where you want to go, but through the curriculum at ISPP, you're going to organically find out what you want to do.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you. So we have a few questions in the Q&A box that I'm just seeing. So somebody has posted, and I think let's take questions side by side to make the discussion a little bit more interesting. Can you please explain me the career assistance and placement opportunities at ISPP?
Shivangi,
Anyone
do
from
you want to take that?
who wishes to take it? I want the audience to hear directly from the scholars.
Okay, so we have one lab. It's called Professional Development Lab, and at the beginning of the term two, I believe, it starts, and there from how you sit for an interview, what should be your profile, title, and how to make your resume, everything you are taught. And the faculty like guides you throughout the whole process. And the career and placement team, they're always there to help you out. I mean, if you have questions about, okay, where do you want to go, which stream, which companies or organizations you should be looking into, from there to how the placement process will happen, they will guide you through everything. So it's an end to end process here at ISPP, with respect to the career and placement cell.
Thank you, Shivangi. Having said that, Shivangi recently got placed. So congratulations, Shivangi, on that. And could you please tell us about that experience as well? Where are you placed? What is the profile?
Okay, sure. So the opportunity comes through our placement team. I applied through it. So there's a screening process. Your CV is goes through that, and if you clear it, and if you're eligible for the position, then there was a get to know you call for 30 minutes, and then I was given an assignment, and from then I had this one last interview, which was very grilling, but my faculty and career placement team, they were there to help me out. So that went very smoothly for me. Like, the process was very smooth, and even for my summer internship, I got into EY. So I'll be interning with them, and with EY also, it being a big four company. So with that as well, my interview process and onboarding process has been very smooth, and the faculty and my placement team, they have been like there, and they know the process does get hectic with all the documentation and everything. The place I'll be joining as a full-time employee is Project D. So they work on cash transfers, unconditional cash transfers in India. So there are three different verticals: knowledge creation, policy vertical, and then program implementation. So they like do from government, working with the government, to implementing their own pilot programs on changing the narrative about the cash transfers. So I will be working in the third vertical, and which is the policy vertical, as a policy manager, and probably looking after the Delhi, working with Delhi government on their schemes and everything. So,
Perfect. Thank you, Shivangi. I know you're excited about it. We have one more question. I think that's from Pratik Shah. does the value of this course is equivalent to a degree in government and private organization? And after this, if we don't want to study further and want to land directly into job, will this course be sufficient? Okay, so for both the questions, yes and yes. But I would like Vijay to answer that for us, because today it's all about our scholars.
Just like Kuhu said, the answer to both of those questions is yes. So the way the course is structured, it's a 1-year course. It's a PGDM course, right? So how it basically works is it is a master's equivalent course. And let's say you don't want to study further and you want to go directly into a job, you can absolutely do it. We have people who have done just their undergraduate degree, just like me, who have come to ISPP and are either placed or are giving interviews or are pursuing organizations that they like to work at actively. So it's not a question of can you go directly into the job market? You certainly can, because there's multiple people from our cohort that have been placed. One of the people from our cohort has been placed into EY, and I believe she has done a bachelor's degree and then came to ISPP. So with her undergraduate degree, she's been placed at EY, I believe, just 2 months into the course. So yeah, the answer to those questions is yes.
Perfect. Having said that, asking that questions, and you were responding beautifully to that question. One thing that I want to touch upon is industry mentorship that we have. What was your experience? And I'll ask both of you. The reason being, of course, now since you are on the last leg of the course, having the importance of having an industry mentor and how it helped you in the entire process. There is, of course, a theoretical learning. There is coursework, workshops at ISPP that actually helps you, understand the domain, understand the nitty-gritties of public policy. But how having an industry mentor aligned with you helped you overall. So, Vijay, let's start with you first.
So the industry mentorship is something that I don't think any other college really or institute really offers it. And initially, when we were introduced to the entire program where you get to choose 3 mentors and a mentor of your choice or your preference would be assigned to you. And these are all people with 20, 30 years of being in the industry. So you have multiple ex-civil servants who've gone into industry, who've gone into corporate consulting, into corporates. We have people who have been working in PSUs and then went into industry. We have entrepreneurs, owners of companies, and very high-ranking officials in various organizations. To take my example, my mentor is Mr. Anand Jha. He is a policy head at Visa, and prior to that, he was with, I believe, BlackRock, and before that, he was a civil servant. So his job primarily consists of government engagement. So Visa, the card that we all have, right? They have a lot of business and a lot of interactions with the government. And Mr. Jha practically heads the entire operation when it comes to government engagement. When you interact with people who have a real insider's understanding of the ecosystem, the industry, and all of it, you really understand as a student. You get to learn how it works, firstly. Secondly is when you have meetings with them, you get to schedule meetings with them at their convenience and yours. And you just get to talk to them. You get to ask them questions, they give you answers, and you get to build a real good relationship with them. It's not about just getting jobs, right? There have been cases from our cohort where mentors have recommended scholars to jobs of their liking, where the mentors thought that the scholars would be a good fit. Just today, I was talking to someone who recently landed an internship at their mentor's recommendation. So it's about building a lasting relationship with someone who has a lot of experience, who you can connect to even after ISPP. So with my mentor, I am certain that after I go into the job market, after I get a job and I'm working, I know for a fact that anytime I've hit a wall, I can message him, ask him, okay, Mr. Jha, I have encountered a problem. How do you think I should look at this? How do you think I should be dealing with this? Because many a times you can't really go up to the higher ups in your own organization and ask them for advice because they're paying you. They expect you to do your job well. But with ISPP and the mentors that we get paired with, you have the option of asking someone who's got 20.
Vijay, we cannot hear you. I think there is a connection error. I think Vijay would log in again. There is a connectivity issue from his side. In the meantime, Shivangi, what was your experience with your mentor?
Yeah, I think Vijay summed it well, like how it works out for us. So we are assigned mentors, and like he said, the process is this and that. And for me, like my mentor Shobna Rana, her career trajectory is something that I, aspire to at least touch upon. Starting from being a research associate at Center of International Affairs at Harvard University, then working at Geneva, United Nations Geneva office, New York office, and now she is an advisor at Karmayogi Bharat. And it's not only about learning about their career, how where they started from, how it has helped them in the public policy space, and what they are learning. Of course, there's a lot of learning just looking at their career trajectory. But then you can also discuss your like there's a safe space that my mentor provided me. So we were not just talking about okay public policy this and that, but a lot of life aspects and challenges as well. So with for me, like my mentor has really provided me that open and safe space where she used to tell me about her life trajectory, and I was able to okay relate to it, and then opened up about my life also and how I planned it, how I have planned it. And yeah, it's a lot of learning because you are sharing stories with a person, and it's always nice to learn to share your stories and learn something about each other.
Perfect. So I think industry mentorship helps in multiple ways. A, learning from the experiences of somebody who's been into the industry for so many years. Of course. B, developing your networking skills, getting to know more people in the industry, getting to, prepare yourselves before you enter the industry. On that note, we have one more question. Who are the major recruiters now with ISPP? Anybody wants to take that?
Okay, so it will keep on changing because so if there's A, B, C company who has hired from ISVP this year, as per the industry demand, it might change the next year. So the numbers also, if two people got hired in a particular company this year, next year it might be four or five people, as per the like the demand, industry demand, and the skills that are required. So I think it keeps on changing, and the major like partners and the companies that are associated with ISPP, and they do come. They are already listed on the ISPP site. So if someone wants to check that, they can just visit the website and see what are the companies who like usually come.
Thank you, Shivangi. So we have Vijay back. He was saying something.
Yeah,
So
I'm
Vijay,
so sorry. My internet suddenly decided to act up. I apologize for that. Uh, but yeah, about industry mentors, I'm sure Shivangi has covered it. But what I was saying is, it's good to have relationships with people who have an in. So at any point, you can reach out to them. And also on the question of who are the major recruiters, like Shivangi said, it keeps changing from year to year. But what I can tell you is the fact that every year the OCS, the Office of Career Services, they make sure that there is a variety of organizations that come in to recruit scholars from ISPP. So let's say there are 40 people in a batch or 50 people in a batch, and everyone has a different interest. The CS makes sure that everybody's interests that come in. There's a lot of various organizations that come in, right? So you have people from development, we have people from corporate consulting, the startups that have come in. Uh, Recently, Tata Steels came in for an internship, and it keeps changing every year, but there's a variety of organizations to choose from.
thank you, Vijay. Thank you. And just one thing that also a query that we have received, and I also want to touch base on that, is the FT scholarships. That is the Franklin Templeton scholarships that ISPP has announced this year to promote and encourage women in public policy. And I think Shivangi, nobody else other than Shivangi, a better person to talk about it. So having said that, just one thing I want to add on for all the audience, that yes, ISPP is there, and we would love to promote and have more women in the field of public policy who has the right inclination, who has the right aspirations and motivations for public policy. And the rest, I think Shivangi will be able to help you. Shivangi.
Yes, so as Kuhu rightly mentioned, that if you have the motivation and aspirations to be in this field and to become a public policy professional or just to learn, you're eager to learn about public policy, then as per your need, FT scholarship is there, and my batch is the first one to receive it. So 11 women from our cohort, we have received FT scholarship, and it varies. It depends like on your need base. So I don't remember the exact formula, but it will depend. So you need to keep in mind your aspirations. If you have the right aspiration, motivation, and as per your financial need, you will be provided the FT scholarship. And for a lot of us, for my batch, like the 11 of us, we have been really grateful to have received this opportunity and this scholarship from ISPP and FT, because that was a major component in making our journey very smooth, and actually realizing the power of public policy field per se, because then we were able to focus more on the field and less worry about our financials. So that has, and this year it's going to be 20 women who will probably receive the FT scholarship. So that is something to look out for if you are really interested in the field.
Even I'm looking forward to have more women in the classrooms.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there is one question that has been a repetitive one, and I would like to take it. That does everyone in the cohort gets the internship, and what is the ROI and the placement stat of last year? So yes, everyone in the cohort does get an internship. Of course, you have to work really hard for that, and Shivangi and Vijay are a testament to that. Having said that, the placement stat of last year, yes, I can tell you the average placement record that we have. So the average placements that we have is 8.5. Having said that, placement also depends upon the sector that you choose. Whether you're choosing to work with the government, whether you're choosing to work with consultant at big corporates, or you choose to make an impact and work in the social sector. So there are multiple aspects and facets to the placement stats also, and you can find a detailed report on the website as well. I hope that answers the questions. Okay, so there is one more question that recently just came in. What can be career benefits with this course? So what are the career benefits with this course? So I think it would be a summary, and anybody of you, from both of you, who would like to take that?
I'll take that if that's okay, and Shivangi can,
Add up to it.
Yep. So just like we've mentioned, there's a bunch of different fields and streams and careers that we've mentioned just in the past 10 minutes. So if you want to go into corporate consulting, that's certainly an option. If you want to work with government ministries, government agencies, PSUs, all of that, that's another option. Then there is also the large prospect of working with NGOs, foundations, nonprofits. And so the entire public policy ecosystem is a mix of all of these. Like I said earlier, every big organization, let's say Amazon, Google, Uber, all of them have public policy departments. The government actively hires people who have a background in public policy to do research, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, a bunch of other things. And nonprofits really, really like people who have a public policy background, because when you have a background in public policy, it's sort of understood, especially from an organization or an institute like ISPP. It's understood that you have a very good understanding of how the system works, not only people, citizens, the market, and also the government. And there's something that we use in ISPP, which I'm sure all of you will get introduced to. It is Samaj, Sarkar, and Bazaar. Samaj is the civil society, all of us, you and I. Sarkar is the government, obviously, and Bazaar is the market. So career opportunities can be in any of these. You can go into NGOs, foundations, civil society groups. You can go into the government, or you can go into Bazaar, which is corporate consulting, a corporate company, public policy departments of various multinationals. The possibilities are, honestly, it's a cliche to say, but the opportunities are sort of endless. Anything else, Shivangi?
No, I think you just missed out on startups. They can also go and work with startups. I am going to be working with the startup. So, yes.
Okay, Shivangi, since you mentioned startup, this is a kind of, you can say, a taboo thing or something. People are so skeptical. Why should we go, work with a startup? And since you brought it up, there are certain things that people are so skeptical. And I think startups gives you a great way into the industry, and you learn a lot, and you develop yourself into a good professional in any which field that you're working in. So what made you, since you already had a work experience, right?
Hmm.
You already come with a work experience, choosing a startup. So how that decision came through?
Okay, for me, it was quite easy to go ahead with this startup because of my interest and the programs that I really wanted to work on and I see a future in. And the second thing was at any startups, and given this particular one, you are building something, you are trying to change, bring in a shift, and which is going to have a lasting impact on the society, the field that I'm so into. I'll be able to, make a small impact. And here at startups, you're not only working on just one component, you're looking after a lot of things. So even after having a 4 years of work experience and working with like good NGOs, I like for me this startup is really something that will shape my career in the direction I want to. And from a societal level, also like the public policy impact that I've always wanted to, get into and be a part of. Startups gives you that opportunity, especially when they are working on a specific policy. So for me, choosing this startup was quite easy. It wasn't about, okay, I want to go to a fancy place or a fancy organization. It was about working on this one thing with a team which is very dedicated to, helping the community.
I think Shivangi, you summed it up very beautifully, that creating impact. And I think that resonates with you and you opted for it. Wonderful. Since we are running around the clock, we have a lot of questions. We'll be taking a few of them. What kind of exposures we can get while studying here, like in terms of events and networking? Vijay, would you like to take that on?
Yeah, since we're running short on time, I'll make it quick. We get to attend almost, we're in Delhi, so we get to attend all sorts of events. There's government events, there's book launches, there's something known as PAFI. PAFI is a annual conference, the Public Affairs Forum of India. The founders, the directors of PAFI are going to come and take classes for you as well at ISPP. But you get to interact with people who are ministers of state, ministers of different portfolios that come and you can interact with them in these events. I actually attended an event where I got to interact with the Argentinian foreign affairs minister, which was held, and I went there through ISPP, and we got to interact with her. And at that event, we were the only students. Scholars from ISPP were the only scholars or students there. And since we're in Delhi, there's going to be a lot of invites that come. There's going to be policy hackathons, conferences, and interactions mainly as well, roundtables, discussions, a bunch of things that you're going to be invited for. So if you have the interest in what they're talking about at a conference or a seminar or a webinar, you certainly get to go. And just having the tag of being from ISPP is enough for you to go up to someone and say hi and interact with them for a while.
Just one thing I would like one of you to actually emphasize on as well, I think that we have missed in our conversation, is our alumni. And I'm pretty sure that Alumni Association provides a great way of networking and provide insights into the industry. Shivangi, would you like to add on to that?
Yes, and I think a lot of people have like offer holders and people who are interested in ISPP and PDM program. They also know how accessible our LMs are, through LinkedIn. So that is always there. They are ready to help. They are ready to talk about ISPP and their own experience. And with respect to our cohort, I would say my first interaction with LM have been at ISPP through the microeconomics course, and my seniors, because they were the teaching associates for the subject. So they have been through and through with us. And since I don't come from a quant background, maths background, and the people like me, our alumni, they were always there. So not only when we needed, industry guidance and how their work life has been or their career trajectory has been after ISPP, but academically also they were able to help us a lot. And the alumni network, even if you reach out to a person you have never interacted with, you show your interest and your aspirations of doing public policy at ISPP, and they're always there to help you and guide you.
Thank you, Shivangi. Guys, we are nice people. We always we are always available. The team, the scholars, the alumni, public policy people are, it strictly says public, right? So we are accessible to public, be it the team, be it our scholars, be it our alumni. We are in the field of public policy and we do not shy away from it. That said, there is a specific question: what is the eligibility criteria for scholarship? I think I should be the one taking it. So when you reach out on our website, when you start filling up the application form for the PTM, the form is very well laid out. There is a certain section of form that asks you for the details regarding the scholarships. So all the details that you need are covered there. You can just submit your documents, fill in those boxes, and you can apply for the scholarship. You just have to go on the website and start filling up the form. That said, I know I have. Oh, Vijay has to say something. Yes, Vijay.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to what Shivangi was saying about these alumni.
Yeah.
There's something that we say a lot at ISPP, which I'm sure most of you are going to hear as well. Not just with alumni, but with your curriculum, your professors, anything that you need support with. If you want help, ask for it and you will get it. All you have to do is ask. So that's something that ISPP and all of the people in the institute tries to follow. So anytime you need help, alumni, scholar, professors, anything, ask and you shall get it.
Nicely said, Vijay. On that note, I have my corridor conversations with the scholars, Vijay and Shivangi, recently a lot. So I'm really thankful to both of you for joining us today. And before leaving, any closing thoughts from Shivangi and Vijay?
I'm just going to copy your line. If you have the right aspirations, if you have the right motivations to get into this field to learn more about public policy, believe me, there is no better place than ISPP, coming from experience.
Yeah, so just like Shivangi said, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. So the campus is beautiful, the professors are amazing, the faculty that you get to interact with is brilliant, and I think at the end of the day, the most important thing is when you see something happen in front of your eyes. Let's say you go out onto the street and you see something, you analyze it in ways that you never thought could be possible. And ISPP really teaches you to think and think very deeply. And I think for me, that's the biggest takeaway from ISPP. The careers, learning, all of that happens, but it really teaches you to look at the world and think.
Perfect. Okay, on those notes, I would again say thank you, Vijay. Thank you, Shivangi, for joining us today. It was great to discuss these things on the platform where even audience could benefit. I have learned a lot from you guys, and I look forward to learn more. So that is it from Team ISPP. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Have a very good evening. Bye-bye.